Large Hadron Collider, 8.6 kilometers. The Large Hadron Collider is the world's largest and highest energy particle accelerator. It smashes protons into protons and studies some of its tiniest things in the universe, quarks and leptons, and even the Higgs boson. Depth of the Mariana Trench, 10.9 kilometers. The Mariana Trench is a pretty deep trench. It is in the Pacific Ocean. Did you know that a lovely trench has been proposed? This lovely trench has been proposed as a site for dumping nuclear waste. That's a terrible topic. Mount Everest, 8.8 kilometers. Mount Everest is the highest mountain on Earth. At 8,848 meters, it is constantly growing like children do. Not many people can climb it without using an oxygen tank. This means that Mount Everest is the youngest mountain, as older mountains start to get cut off with time. Deimos, 13 kilometers. Deimos was the smallest known moon in the solar system for almost 100 years. You could walk it in a day. Of course, you have to wear a spacesuit to survive from the vacuum of space. I don't think you could walk as fast in a spacesuit, though. And that's a good thing, because Deimos has almost no surface gravity, meaning can never walk on this moon. Halley's Comet, 11 kilometers. The actual size of Halley's Comet, the nucleus, is quite small. The tail that it forms can be millions of kilometers in length. Halley's Comet loses 10% of its mass for every 1,000 orbits. Phobos, 23 kilometers. Phobos is the larger of the two Martian moons. Still, it's quite small. Did you know that if you were standing on Phobos, its gravity would be so weak that you could throw that baseball and it would come down, and if you and you will never come down even if you walked. Now that's what I call a tragedy. Neutron star, 24 kilometers. Neutron stars are made of tightly packed neutrons. As a result, they're extremely dense. 1 milliliter of neutron star material weighs 1 billion kilograms. Nix, 35 kilometers. Nix is the smallest known moon of Pluto. Well, actually, it's Styx, but whatever. Its name is the second shortest name of the moon, the shortest being Io. The name comes from the primordial Greek goddess Nyx, who is the night, personification of the night. Marathon, 42.2 kilometers. A marathon is 42.2 kilometers, the average marathon, or 26.2 miles. About 1,000 of Americans have run a marathon. According to a legend, after a Greek victory in the Battle of Marathon, Pheidippides was sent to Athens to tell the news. The distance was a marathon. Now that's not funny. Rhode Island, 75 kilometers. Rhode Island is the smallest state in the U.S.A. However, it could still fit the world's population in. Did you know that Rhode Island has the longest official state name, the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations? Dysnomia, 140 kilometers. Dysnomia is Eris's only moon and was discovered on September 10th, 2005, which was Saturday. Also, did you know that dysnomia also refers to a law conflict? That is terrible news. Rwanda, 240 kilometers. Rwanda is a country in eastern Central Africa and is known as the land of 1,000 hills. Did you know that Rwanda, as a country, ranks 144th in land area? That means there are only 143 countries that have more land area than it. Brunei, 120 kilometers. Brunei is a country in Southeast Asia, is surrounded completely by Malaysia in the South China Sea. Roughly 450,000 people live on this country. They drive on the left side of the road. West Virginia, 400 kilometers. West Virginia used to be part of Virginia. They split in 1863 because of the Civil War. Now, West Virginia is still a state. A lot of glass marbles are made in West Virginia. Hydra, 400 kilometers. Hydra is one of Pluto's moons. It's named after the seven-headed serpent from Greek mythology. Of course, Hydra will grow two heads if you cut one off. If you want Hydra to have n heads, all you have to do is cut off n minus 7 heads. However, this will not work if you want less than 7 because the value result will be negative, and negative is impossible. Grand Canyon, 450 kilometers. The Grand Canyon is one of the largest canyons on Earth. It was carved by the Colorado River. All that carving took around 17 million years. The layers of rock exposed were even older, some as old as 1.8 billion years old. Italy, 1,100 kilometers. Italy was home to Leonardo da Vinci, who was an inventor, mathematician, engineer, painter, sculptor, scientist, musician, and much more. Of course, we all know him for paint because he painted the Mona Lisa. Many other painters, including Raphael and Michelangelo, were also from Italy. From now on, we shh. Setna, 1,000 kilometers. Senna has a very elliptical orbit. It is so far away it takes 10,000 Earth years to complete one orbit. You probably realize that Setna backwards is Andes, the world's longest mountain range. It's in South America. Both may seem otherworldly. Wow. 1,100 kilometers. Quote, some scientists use to think Vollmer had a dense core because Pluto-sized object hit it and stripped away its outer layers. But now we know Quamor is much lighter than we originally assumed. Even so, it's almost as heavy and big as Pluto's moon Charon. Speaking of Charon, Charon, 1,200 kilometers. Charon is Pluto's only large moon. They're very close in size. They're so close, some people used to consider Pluto and Charon to be a double planet. Did you know that the same side of Charon always faces Pluto and vice versa? Speaking of Pluto, here's uh, speaking of Pluto, here's Pluto. 2,300 kilometers. Pluto is no longer a planet. Why do people feel sympathy for it? It has no feelings. Even if it did, why would it care about what people way over on Earth thought? On another note, Pluto's official name is now 134340 Pluto. That's its minor planet designation. Ceres, 950 kilometers. Ceres is not a very good place for humans to live. Ceres is also the largest asteroid and began the debate over the definition of a planet. For a time, Ceres was considered a planet, but then it wasn't. Texas, 1,200 kilometers. Texas is the only state to have the same rank in both population and land area, if which is second. If Puerto Rico were to be counted, which it definitely isn't, Mississippi would rank in 32nd in both categories, but it's not, because Puerto Rico is not a state of the United States. It is. Puerto Rico is an unincorporated territory. Territories are not confused with states. California, 1,200 kilometers. California is nicknamed the Golden State. In the United States, is ranked first in population, third in land area, and 11th in name length. California is home to roughly 40 million people, which is less than 1% of the world's population. Duh. Eris, 2,330 kilometers. Eris is the most massive dwarf planet. Although it's a bit smaller, it is even heavier than Pluto, which is also a dwarf planet. Eris is also very far from the sun. Eris has a moon, and that's Dysnomia. Where is Dysnomia? It's directly beneath the period at the end of the last sentence. Actually, no, Dysnomia is right there. The Great Barrier Reef, 2,600 kilometers. The Great Barrier Reef which is off the northeastern coast of Australia, is the biggest single structure made by living organisms. It is home to several thousands species of coral, mollusks, whales, turtles, dolphins, birds, and much more. Triton. Triton, 2,700 kilometers. Triton is Neptune's largest moon. It's also the coldest object we ever visited in the solar system at negative 240 degrees Celsius. Triton is also a very windy place with winds going at almost the speed of sound. Triton is a captured dwarf planet. If Triton wasn't captured by Neptune, Triton would be the biggest dwarf planet, not Pluto. Europa, 3,100 kilometers. Europa is the puniest of the Galilean moons. It is covered with ice. There are mysterious streaks that cover the moon's surface. These are called lineae. Scientists think a water ocean might exist beneath the layer of ice, possibly even holding life. But as we know, it's not because there's no energy to be able to go. The moon, 3,500 kilometers. The moon, also known as Luna, is the brightest object in the night sky. It orbits Earth every 27 days, 7 hours, and 43 minutes. I like to imagine seeing several moons scattered across the night sky. That would be unamazing. Great Wall of China, 2,900 kilometers. The Great Wall of China is 2,900 kilometers across. However, it twists and turns, so if you straighten it out into a line, it will be over 8,800 kilometers long. Despite the contrary belief, the Great Wall of China is not visible from space. It's less than 10 meters wide. Most houses are wider than that. Io, 3,600 kilometers. Io has a lot of volcanoes, the most in the solar system. Io's geysers emit frozen sulfur dioxide up to 500 kilometers into space. The landscape of Io is constantly changing. In 1 year, it will look very different because of its volcanoes, volcanic activity. The United States of America, 4,200 kilometers. Here is the USA. Although it may seem to be larger than Pluto, Pluto has a back base, which means Pluto has more surface area.